Привет, ребят! О, класс! Вы меня видите, слышите? Как меня слышно? Если вы меня слышите, поставьте, пожалуйста, плюсик в чат. Если вы меня слышите и видите, поставьте, пожалуйста, плюсик в чат. У нас небольшая задержка трансляции идет, поэтому... О, классно. Вижу, слышу, супер. Как настроение? Мы впервые проводим вебинар через эту платформу. Были небольшие сложности со ссылкой, но я надеюсь, что сейчас все догонят и зайдут к нам. Я еще включу трансляцию в Инстаграм, и все подойдут, да, отлично. Класс. Хорошо, Эмма уже нервничает немножко и сейчас будет вам рассказывать о мотивации. Я хотела вас заранее предупредить, что я буду в чате. Если вдруг у вас будут какие-то проблемы с пониманием ее, да, она, во-первых, будет вас спрашивать, все ли вы понимаете. Может быть, вам нужно объяснять чуть медленнее или чуть быстрее. Вы давайте ей обратную связь, не стесняйтесь, потому что она тоже очень переживает. Она очень милая и очень добрая, но это первый вебинар в ее жизни, поэтому я надеюсь, что все пройдет хорошо. Так вот, если вдруг вы что-то будете не понимать, я буду рядом в чате и буду вам переводить, хорошо? То есть, если вдруг вы не понимаете какое-то слово или не понимаете смысл слайда, то пишите, не стесняйтесь, я здесь, чтобы вам помочь. И, пожалуйста, постарайтесь сфокусироваться на ее голосе, на том, что написано, постарайтесь не отвлекаться. Если это вообще первый в вашей жизни вебинар с носителем, да, то, возможно, вам будет сложно, возможно, вы будете нервничать, голова будет кипеть, и там, вы будете переживать. Все нормально. Попытайтесь успокоиться, когда первый раз слушаешь носителя, всегда так. Я попросила ему, чтобы она вместила свою презентацию в 1 час, чтобы вам было не очень сложно. Я надеюсь, что все хорошо пройдет. Окей, итак, еще раз повторяю, что я рядом, вы всегда можете написать, спросить, что она сказала, я постараюсь перевести, я постараюсь успевать отвечать на все ваши вопросы. Окей, подвисает изображение, да, бывает. Ну все, вы готовы начинать? Дайте мне обратную связь. Если вы готовы, то Эмма включит видео. И я потом еще с вами попрощаюсь. И для всех тех, кто зарегистрировался на вебинар, да, в Инстаграме не будет. Я включу прямой эфир в Инстаграме, направлю его на экран и прикреплю там ссылочку тоже. Да, тут видео тормозит. Вам видео вообще, в принципе, не обязательно. Ваша задача смотреть на презентацию. Угу. Хорошо. Окей, готовы. Супер.
Hi, hello everyone. Can you just let me know in the chat box if you can hear me okay? How's the sound? In English, because I can't read Russian. Yeah? Hello! Hi guys, okay, fantastic. So, hello! Hi Kat, hi Tanya. Bonarenko, apologise for the pronunciation. Okay, well, let's get started. So, first of all, it's really lovely that you guys are taking the time to be here this evening. If you have any problems, if I'm speaking too quickly, just let me know in the chat box and I'll slow down, okay? Hello, hello. Hi, Veronica. Okay, so this evening we're going to talk about something that happens to people very frequently when they're learning English, that they lose their motivation. So you feel like you're working very hard and then suddenly you don't feel like studying anymore and you can't really remember why you're learning. and you get very tired. Okay, so I've got 3 steps that we're going to cover this evening, which will help you to avoid that situation. And it's very easy. So the first one is make it simple, then make it easy, and make it fun. Okay. Oh, and I should probably introduce myself actually. Hi, Marina. So I'm Emma, and I've been teaching English for 6 years now. I usually teach business English, and I have lots of students from all over the world, but they all have more or less the same problems, which is losing motivation. Hello, Marina. And also finding time to study. Okay. So maybe if you guys can add to the chat box, what are the problems that you have? So when do you lose motivation, and why do you think that is? And at the end of the webinar, I'll try and get back to those reasons, okay? Woo. Here we go. So these are some of the complaints that I get from my students over the years. So they say, I don't feel like I'm improving, I've hit a block, I can't understand a specific type of grammar or pronunciation. Lots of people get really fed up with the perfect tenses, or they get really tired with the conditionals and they feel they're never going to understand it. There's no point, okay? Another thing that happens is that you feel like you're still translating in your head, even though, oh, there's no sound. Okay, let me know if the sound comes back in a second. So yes, people feel like even though they're studying lots, they are translating in their head, and it feels like they're not going to get to a point where they're fluent and they're just thinking in English. Other times they say they don't have time to study, or they only speak English in class and they don't have anyone to practice with. A really big problem, woohoo, everything's okay. Okay, great. A really big problem people have from every country is that they feel embarrassed when they speak, or they feel stupid, or they feel frustrated. So before we look at these things, I have to tell you it's completely normal. When I first moved to Spain and I had to speak in Spanish, I did some really ridiculous things. Like I would order food that I could pronounce instead of food that I wanted. Or I would avoid going to a shop where I had to speak to somebody, and I'd go to a supermarket where I could just use a machine. Because I live in Spain, after a few weeks, I had to stop doing that because it's not a good way to live. And I got myself into situations where I became embarrassed, and then very quickly you stop being embarrassed because you just have to live and you have to speak the language. So for you guys, because you don't live in an English-speaking country, most of you, I think, we have to accelerate that situation. So you can do that by getting speaking practice as much as possible, listening to podcasts, and doing things like this, getting onto a webinar and listening to a native speaker as well. So what I'd like you to do, if you've got the workbook or if you've got a piece of paper, is just write down now, what is your biggest problem? What is your biggest frustration with learning English? Okay. Yes, this is a very important graph that I want to show you. So this graph shows more or less the progress that people have when they're learning a language. And you can see it starts off accelerating and you get better very quickly. You feel like you're learning lots of words and lots of vocabulary all the time. And then it starts to drop and you feel like you're not improving, you don't have enough time to study. And this is normally when people get distracted, they start another hobby, and they think, okay, I'll come back to English later. The thing that we have to do is make a plan so that you don't have that drop. And this is what we're going to go into in the next few steps, okay? So the first thing we have to do is make it simple. Make it simple means we need very small, very specific goals. And one of the first steps to doing that is to remember why you started learning English. So everybody has a reason for learning English in the beginning, and it could be that you started to learn it for professional reasons because you wanted to improve your professional situation. Maybe you want to apply for a job in another country, or maybe you want to move up the career ladder in your current job and you need English. It might not even be you need English to work with English speakers. Maybe your company works with French or Italians, but English is the common language. Another reason a lot of people start to learn English is to travel, because really there aren't, oh, because you wanted to live in Holland. Okay, I can see someone started learning because they wanted to live in Holland. There you go. So it's not even the national language in Holland, and you can use it to start another life. So that's really exciting. So yes, English, you can use it for travel anywhere in the world, and you know that you can go there and confidently order a drink, take a taxi, you can have a really nice time there. The next reason is for fun. And I have to say, this is probably the smallest reason. Most of my students learn because of work or travel or other reasons. But maybe you really enjoy English songs, or you loved English books and you wanted to read them in the first language. Some people really love English movies, so you want to enjoy them more. The next reason is quite a big one, and it's one that I have for learning Spanish, which is that my boyfriend is from Spain. So I want to be able to communicate with his friends and with his family without having to have somebody translate for me all the time. So it might be that you've got friends and family from another country and English is the way to connect with them. Could be a combination of all of these things. So I can see, yeah, study, exactly, okay. So studying in an English-speaking country is a really, really good reason to get ahead. And it connects you to so many things, which is really, really exciting. I want to show you a couple of numbers. Where am I from? Good question. So I am from the UK, and now I'm living in Spain. But my accent is quite neutral, I would say, because I don't really have an accent from the north of the UK or from the south of the UK either. It's very BBC. Okay, so here are these numbers that I want to show you. So for me, these are really important numbers when we look at how you can use English around the world. So 53, this is the number of countries where the official language is English. 55 is the percentage of web pages that are in English. So why is this important when you have Google Translate? You can use lots of different applications. Well, if you're waiting for somebody to translate information, then you're not the first to know and you're not on the edge. If you can access that 55% of web pages that are in English, that can mean that you're really, really an important and valuable person in the workplace. Yeah, somebody's just said the modern world wants us to learn this language, I guess. I think that's actually, I'm going to deviate from the plan just to talk about this point. I think that's a really interesting point because a lot of people feel that they have to learn English because of the modern world. But actually, translation software is getting better and better. And I think one of the things to keep you motivated is to think about the difference between you speaking a language and using translation software. And the ability to connect with people by speaking to them directly is, again, really, really valuable. And it's a much more, how can we say, it's a much more positive feeling for you when you can speak to someone directly and understand each other than when you're using Google Translate, which is also very, very useful. So let's go back to the slide. 1.5 billion. This is the number of English speakers in the world, and it's a lot. I think the next language after English is Chinese and Spanish. So you can see you've got so many opportunities if you are one of those English speakers, and it really opens doors. And I think the important thing when you think about your motivation as well is at the beginning, you have to put in a lot of time now to get to a good level. But once you're fluent in English, you only have to maintain it. So you can just use 5 or 10 minutes a day, and you've got that 1.5 billion people that you can talk to and you can connect with, which is a lot of friends and a lot of business people, I think. Okay. The next slide is I love English because. So I've got 2 pictures on here. This is Big Ben. I'm not sure if you recognise it, if those of you have been to London. And over here is one of my favourite handbags. It's a Cambridge satchel handbag. So this gives me 2 of the reasons that it is a good idea to love English. The first is the ability to travel, to go to London, and also for me to go shopping and to be able to talk to people directly in English. Okay. I want you to remember why you love learning English and think about these benefits, because when you lose your motivation and when you feel stressed and tired, if you have it written down on your laptop or in your agenda, the reasons that you love English, you can read them. And even if you don't feel like it immediately, it's going to remind you and you're going to start to feel a bit more positive about it. So I've put a few examples for you here. I guess everybody will have different reasons. So these are some of the ideas I have. So you could say, I love learning English because it means I can get the promotion. Or I love learning English because it means I can work for myself. You know, I know some guys who are, there we go, Veronica loves English because she likes traveling. That's it. And if you can remind yourself of that when you're feeling tired and annoyed, it's going to get you back in a good mood again. Okay. Yeah, I know some students who have now started teaching English themselves from home, and they're able to spend more time with their family, which is amazing. We couldn't do that 10 years ago. It could be, as Veronica said, I love English because it means I can travel anywhere and be understood. Or it could be, I love learning English because it means I can earn more money, because I can go for the higher level jobs and I'm not restricted by my language abilities. So if you've got a notebook, just take a second and write down a couple of reasons why you love English. So yeah, here we go. I love learning English because I can study abroad. I mean, that's a fantastic reason. And not only can you study abroad, but you can connect with people as well. You're not just isolated when you go to another country. Ooh. This is one of my favourite things to do to motivate yourself. And I don't know if anyone's made one before, but this is a vision board, we call it. So there is a lot of research that shows our brain responds to images, and we can use these images to create our reality and to motivate ourselves and to keep us focused on what we're doing. I don't know if anyone did this when they were a kid, but I used to cut out pictures of buildings, of places. Here we go. I love English because it makes me happy when I'm learning something new. Yeah, fantastic. Confidence, that's a really big one, I think. A new job and traveling, yeah, fantastic. So yes, I used to cover my my school books when I was studying French with the Eiffel Tower and pictures. Oh my God, I loved pastries from France. So here, look, someone fell in love because they fell in love with a guy. Yeah, exactly. So yes, And I loved going to France and ordering pastries and food, and I wanted to be able to do that in French. So I used to cover my book in pictures, just like this here, and that would keep me motivated when I was bored and trying to study grammar, and it was very difficult. Veronica is asking, how many languages do I know? I'm going to say 3.5 because I studied French and Spanish, but I also studied Welsh. I don't know if you know Welsh, but it's not very widely spoken. Okay, we've got some more guys, yeah, who enjoy travelling and they're motivated for the travel. Travelling to England, speaks with English people, yeah, fantastic. Okay, so write these down and then use them when you're feeling very sad about studying and unmotivated. So this is an example of a vision board that you can make using, I was going to show you mine, but I've lost it, using bits of magazines and cutting things out. You can also use Pinterest. I don't know if anybody uses Pinterest already, but I use Pinterest to do different language boards and to put various recipes and pictures of places I want to travel to. There we go, these comments are really interesting. Yeah, to watch TV shows and movies, brilliant, really, really good. So you've got a space in your workbook to write some ideas of things that you want to put on your vision board. So for example, if you want to watch TV shows in English, cut out pictures of the TV shows that you want to watch. There you go. So also listen to native speakers and then you can have a whole moment where you have your vision board, you're doing your planning, you're listening to native speakers, and it creates a very motivating atmosphere for you. And that will hopefully lift you up when you're feeling a bit sad. Okay, so beyond the vision board. Step 2, make it easy. This is really important. This is not me being lazy. This is backed by science. So if you want to do something new, if you want to build a new habit, or you want to do something that is good for you, so let's say even if it's healthy eating, if you try to make a very big change, which I think is what a lot of us do, so we get a new idea and we say, okay, I'm going to be fluent in English in 6 months. I'm going to study for 3 hours a day and I'm not going out and I'm not going to do anything fun. Probably you're going to give up after a month or less. The way to do it is to make it small, manageable challenges for yourself. Okay, so the first way to do this, I don't know if you're familiar with, this is something called SMART goals. And I'm just going to explain them very briefly because you can have a lot of detail with SMART goals. And all you need to do is Google SMART goal and languages, or SMART goals for language learning, and you'll find lots of bloggers have got lots of information for you. But basically what it means is, you'll see here, you've got the goal needs to be specific, which means give yourself something very, very specific. So instead of saying, I'm going to study English grammar for 1 hour a day, you say, this week, I'm going to understand when to use the present perfect tense. Then you make them measurable. So that means here, you need to have a way to assess if you are achieving your goal. For example, here you can see the number 5. I will have 5 examples of the present perfect tense by the end of this week. Ambitious. This means make it challenging for yourself. So if you've been trying to understand the perfect tenses by doing grammar exercises for the last couple of weeks or months, give yourself a different target. So say, I'm going to listen to a radio show, or I'm going to watch my TV series, I'm going to watch Friends, for example, and I will write down 10 examples of the present perfect tense from native speakers. So that way you're having to push yourself to listen, and at the same time you're seeing the present perfect, the present perfect tense in the real world as well as in your grammar books. This is super important, realistic. So you need to, I know I keep talking about people saying, I'm going to spend 3 hours and then they only have 2 minutes, but it's probably the biggest block to people's motivation. So realistic means really look at your time. How much time do you really have? I've put here 10 minutes a day, but maybe you don't even have 10 minutes. Maybe you have 2 minutes. So in that case, put your 2 minutes in the diary, put it in your calendar, or for example, if you have a cup of coffee every day, say, when I have my cup of coffee, I will memorize an example of the present perfect. So I will memorize a sentence. And that way it's realistic instead of trying to memorize 50 examples of the present perfect. T, time bound. I am very, very guilty of setting, we call it time optimism. So I think I have more time than I have. And a lot of people have this problem. So what you have to do is set a deadline. So you need to say, I will achieve this goal by the end of next week. I have 7 days to learn 5 examples of the present perfect tense. And when you've done that, fantastic, you can relax. Habit building. So this is similar to what I've touched on previously, where, for example, we said if you're having a coffee every day, make that the moment that you study English. This graph is from a book that I really love, which I'll put in the notes later. It's by a man called James Clear, and it's called Atomic Habits. So it's a book that's all about habits, and he demonstrates that if you get just 1% better every day, you are going to see an astronomical, enormous improvement in a couple of months. So try to keep that in your head, that you're just trying to get 1% better every day. You don't need to do more than 1%. 1% is fantastic. And the other important thing I wanted to say here about habits, if you miss one day, that's no problem. So if you say, I'm going to study English every day, I'm going to study English for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes every day, and then one day you're really tired, stressed, something bad happens, you don't study, don't worry about it, but just come back to it the next day. Never miss 2 days, okay? Maybe you guys could tell me, how much time do you normally have to study English? And when is the best time for you? Do you like to study English in the morning, in the afternoon, at the weekends? What challenges do you have? Because that's very useful for people to share, I think. Okay, so do it in English every day in the evening. Yeah, and how much time do you study for in the evening? I'll come back to those in a moment. So, do it in English. Yes, this is my favourite. So, this involves doing something you love, but doing it in English instead. So, for example, if you enjoy doing yoga, you can combine your yoga practice with your English study. And you can use a YouTube video, something easy. Haha, someone studies English after yoga. That's interesting. There we go. Habit building and doing it in English. So you can watch the yoga video in English. If that's too challenging for you, get an article about yoga, and then you can use that vocabulary that you're learning, and that can be your English homework for the week. I'm going to teach myself how to talk about yoga in English, and then you come back and you can do your yoga videos. So you're doing something fun and something that's useful for you, but you're doing it in English. Yeah, you can see people are spending about half an hour a day. TV shows, yeah, that's a great one as well, actually. if you watch a TV show in English, you can make that a little bit more challenging for yourself. And instead of just watching it, you can try to write down 10 questions that the main characters ask, for example. So then you've got something to study as well. Yeah, lots of yoga people. Definitely, I recommend yoga with Adrian if you like yoga. It's really fantastic. Here we've got recipes. So if you like to cook, you can try and break down recipes. You can use YouTube. Fantastic. Lots of people doing it. Great. So yeah, you can cook and you can start to explore different recipes and go deep. So if you find a recipe that you like, watch the chef on YouTube and then look for their name in a podcast and listen to them in an interview. So really immerse yourself in this world, and it's going to make you feel more positive, more excited and more motivated about English, but also about cake, if you're cooking cake. Community and support. Wow, I can see someone studies 3 to 4 hours a day. That's amazing. That's very committed. And then someone else, when your daughter's sleeping. Yeah, this is the thing. If you have children, it can be very difficult to fit that around them. So when they're sleeping is a really great time to catch your 2 to 3 minutes or however long they sleep. Okay, so before we have a look at community and support, I can see people have got lots of ideas of things that they could do in English, but if you could just make a note of that, that would be a great idea. There should be some space in the workbook for you. Okay, so community and support. This is really, 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 really vital, I have to say. So I'm sure some of you have tried learning by yourself and have tried learning with other people. And normally, working with other people and studying with other people can be more motivating for you, as long as you have the right people. So make sure you've got people who make you feel happy. Make sure you've got positive people around you, that you've got a teacher who's positive. Your teacher should never make you feel bad. That's not their job. Their job is definitely to be your cheerleader. And there's also all of these communities on the internet. So I've just put a couple of them for you. There's four Facebook groups that I really like. There's Lindsay Does Languages. She has different challenges where you will do, for example, keeping a language diary for a week, and then you share that on Instagram or on Facebook. And it's a very, very positive community, and everybody helps and supports you. Fluent in 3 months is another very famous one. And they do meetups in different cities as well, so you can meet people in person. The Joy of Languages and We Do Languages, again, just search for them on Facebook. They do lots of challenges and lots of really interesting things. Irregular Endings, this is one of my favourites. These guys are on Instagram and they create, how can we say? Okay, perfect. I'll come back to that. So they create templates that you can complete with writing challenges and creativity, things for you to do every day to make sure you're exploring your English. And Meetup, if you have Meetup in your city, it's a great way to do not only a language exchange, because a language exchange isn't necessarily going to challenge you, but if we come back to the idea of doing what you love, find something you're interested in and do it in English. So do a film club or a book club in English, okay? Okay, so I can see there's a question here which is about listening to someone on the video or TV, and it's fine. And then situations in real life, to conserve with someone who, as I think, knows English better. Okay, not understanding. Right, so there's a question here about having a problem speaking English in real life when I think the idea is that you lose your ability to hear and speak confidently. And the reason for that is normally the stress level. So when you're at home or when you're with your teacher or in your class, it's a very safe environment. And what you have to think about is the first time you had a class with your teacher, you probably felt very nervous. And you don't remember that now because you feel safe and happy with your teacher. But the first class is usually a little bit scary. So this is the same thing I was talking about earlier, where you have to try to recreate these situations as much as possible. So if you find yourself in real life speaking English and you can't understand someone and then you can't communicate because of stress, you need to do two things. So firstly, practice more with either language partners online or with friends and family or your classmates. The other thing you can do is to start to give yourself more difficult listening tasks that create stress. And this can really boost your motivation as well, because if you are changing the level of difficulty of the tasks that you practice with, it means that your confidence is increasing because you know you're getting better. So an example of that could be, instead of just listening and doing a transcription, you give yourself a challenge, which is distraction listening. So you could put some music on in one room and then in another room put your TV show or an audio and try to write down what you're listening to. And that can help you to feel more comfortable when you're in a real life situation, because you've already made yourself more stressed at home. So you have to think of it as not a language problem, but a stress problem. And how can you anticipate and manage the stress? But it does get better, I promise you. I've had many embarrassing situations and you get to a point where you don't get embarrassed anymore, I promise. Okay, my favourite bit, make it fun. So you can see I'm very motivated by cakes from this picture. Treating yourself is really important. So different people have different ways of motivating themselves. Mine is definitely positive motivation. So what I like to do is, when I've set myself a target, I also write down my treat or my reward. And when I complete my target, I'm allowed to have that treat. So one of the things I used recently was I wanted to write every single day in Spanish, just 1 or 2 lines. And I also really wanted a new agenda because I love stationery. I really, really love stationery. So I told myself, if I write every day in my book, then I can go and I can buy my agenda at the end of this month. And I went into the bookshop every day when I finished teaching my classes. I had a look at the agenda, I touched it, I put it back, I didn't buy it. And I worked so hard and I finished my target that month and I went and bought my agenda. And I was really, really happy with it, okay? So what I want you to do is have a think about what motivates you. What is it that you absolutely love? And how can you use that to connect to your English study so that you can use it to motivate you for your English as well? It might be going for a glass of wine, with your friends. So you say, okay, if I get my work done, I can go and I can meet my friends for a drink. Or it might be that you love, I don't know, reality TV, but you feel guilty for watching it. So you read your page in English and then you can watch your reality TV. And you don't feel guilty because you're doing something good. You're studying English first. So that's the treating. This is similar, but a little different. So rituals and positive association. This is something I really, really love. It's connected to the idea of habits as well. But again, if there is a ritual that you can create that, for example, let's say a song. So some people have a particular song that they play before they start working. And as soon as they play that song, they feel ready to work and they sit down and they start to write. For me, I have a candle. So I really like to have a candle. I think you can see. There we go. Ah, yes, Paulina buys dresses when she completes her tasks. I love that. I think that's really fantastic. Um, so yes, I have candles from my mum. She sends them to me. Before I start to work at the beginning of the day, I light my candle. And then when I finish my work, I blow the candle out. And it's a little ritual that I have. And it's positive association. It could be your favourite cup of tea, you know? So you go, you get your cup of tea, and you immediately sit down to do your English. And when you've finished your cup of tea, you've finished your English. So again, have a think about what you really love. How can you create a positive association? You know, let's say the grammar, okay? When people feel fed up with grammar, if you love chocolate, you could put a piece of your favourite chocolate next to the book. And as soon as you finish the grammar task, you could even do it every exercise, you can have your chocolate. And then you're getting happy vibes from the chocolate as well. So maybe you could let me know, guys, what do you love doing? What can you use that will make you feel more motivated and more excited about studying? Don't know if there's any other chocoholics or coffeeaholics through there. This one is also very important to me. Getting out of the house. So if you feel you're losing motivation and you just don't have a lot of energy and you're sitting there with your books, you're refusing to move until you've studied, take a break. Go outside the house, go for a walk, not with your phone. Try and clear your head a little bit. Come back to what we talked about earlier. Why are you studying English? How does that make you feel? There's also some different things you can do that are away from home, because studying by yourself can get a bit exhausting. So can you join a book club? If you don't have a book club, can you start a book club in English? And can you have that in a cafe so that you're going outside, you're doing something that's healthy and is good for you, and really you're connecting with people as well, because that's what we're doing. Eating something delicious. Yeah, ice cream. Exactly. I have waffles in the cupboard. I had one before. So yes, and I would say also, you know, if you do take the phone, put an English podcast on and go for a walk listening to an English podcast. Or one thing I do, I talk to my dog. So I embroider pictures. That's amazing. That's really, really lovely. I love that. So yeah, if you have a dog or a cat, maybe you can take them, well, maybe not the cat. The cat can't go for a walk, but you can take your dog for a walk and you can talk to your dog in English, because your dog is not going to judge you, not at all. Or your hamster, if you have a hamster. Okay, so these were the main points about finding motivation. We've got a little time, so there were one or two things I also wanted to mention. A really important thing is about using social media in a positive way. So a lot of people have, how can we say, they feel pressure from social media, and it's not necessarily a pleasant or nice place for them. But you can control your social media. So some of my students have got an Instagram account that's just for English, and they have English actors and actresses. They follow accounts based in London or, you know, New York or wherever. They have inspirational pictures. Yeah, US radio, that's great. So they put very, very positive things. So again, it's like your vision board that's with you all the time. And you can go there and you can have a look and you can create a very positive English world for you on the internet. The same with YouTube. You can use this in a very, very positive way. So not only use channels for people who are teaching English, but look for channels of people who are doing things that interest you. So there's one account I love which is called the Anna Edit, and she talks about minimalism and things in her house, and I just find it really relaxing to watch. So you can do that. Veronica just asked what radio. It's because I listened to US radio when I was walking. The radio, in fact, you can get the BBC iPlayer, I think, if you want to listen to the radio. But there's lots of good podcasts that you can listen to. And the best thing to do is, if you know what you're interested in, just Google podcast and then the thing you're interested in. So somebody does embroidery. So there's actually lots of sewing podcasts. You can put embroidery or sewing and podcast, or you can put yoga and podcast, or book reviews and podcast. So you can listen to those when you're walking around. Okay, so we've talked about positive people. We've talked about how to build your habits. This is my last point. This is a really nice one, actually, and it's something that I'm doing recently. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you were already fluent in English? So just take a moment or two and just imagine your life, but you're fluent in English. How is it different? I'm sure for the vast majority of you, it's going to be a very, very positive experience. You're going to have less stress, more confidence. You will feel like you've achieved things. Maybe you'll be in a different job. Maybe you'll be in a different country. Oh, someone's just asked, what do I like to eat? I don't know, burgers. So this question is really, really important. So this connects also to, in the comments I can see someone said the best motivation is when you have English speaking idols, actors, singers who always post in English. So again, you can connect that to, what does your life look like when you're fluent in English? You could speak to these people, you can listen to them in interviews, you can read any magazines that you want to, and you can just have a lot more control and freedom over what you're doing. It's a really amazing place to be in, okay? Veronica would live in Boston. Why Boston? Boston must be very cold. Although actually someone was in Boston recently, one of my students, and it's supposedly very, very beautiful. Okay, well, does anybody have any questions? I'm just going to look back through the comments. I think we covered a lot of them. I can see, lots of people are doing about half an hour a day in English. Lots of people in the morning, or 1 to 2 hours. Perfect. Okay, well, I would prefer to live in London. London is very cool. I love London. And I think I have to go to Boston as well. Okay, well, I think we've covered everything. So, Paulina, I think I'm done. Let me know if you need anything else. Ooh, favourite bloggers. I have many favourite bloggers. I love, maybe I can put it in the chat box. There's one called Mad About the House, which is a homes blog. I also love, this one's great, The Frugality. The Frugality is about finance and travel and fashion. Have I ever been to the USA? Yes, I have been to Hawaii, which was very humid and hot, but very beautiful. And also I've been to San Francisco and Los Angeles, which were also amazing. Okay, I guess I just want to check, was everyone okay with the webinar? Did you like everything? Would you like more of anything, less of anything? Che Evans, I'm going to have a look for that one. Irina says, thank you, it was awesome and interesting. That's amazing. Kat, have I been to Russia? No, and I really want to. I always wanted to do the train, the Siberian Express, I think. I really want to go to Russia. That's on my list, definitely. Thank you, Marina. That's really amazing. Oh, I'm really happy that we covered lots of things today, so I hope they're useful for you. I always imagine that I speak English fluently. Minimalism on YouTube. Yes, there's the Anna edit and the minimalists. Ooh, there's the minimalist bakers actually. The minimalist baker. There's also, who else can I recommend? Minimalism on YouTube. Okay, that's minimalism. I always imagine when I speak English fluently, it looks a bit weird when I'm talking with celebrities. Well, you never know. You can imagine yourself at a party. Fantastic. I don't have a YouTube channel because I'm scared of the YouTube. I would like to visit London. Definitely. You know what? For the travellers, I recommend this website. To suggest something to read. Yes, okay. Something to read. I have so many things that I love. Okay, there's Refinery 29, which is an online magazine. There's also, ooh, this is my weak point because I really love reading. What do I read when I have time? Fast Company is great. That gives you lots of design and creativity. Oh, lovely. Hello to Ukraine. Svetlana, I can read your name. I have to work on my Russian names because I can't say anybody's names. I'm so sorry. It's really bad. I can read a couple. Okay, that's fantastic. Well, I'm very happy you enjoyed it. It's really lovely. And Kazakhstan, amazing. I have to get my Google. Well, I do when I teach my students. Paulina can tell you. I get Google Maps and I have a look to see where everybody is, and then I put the little man so that I can have a look on the ground level. How fantastic! Well, I hope you guys are meeting up in person sometimes. Svetlana, nice. Amazing. Oof, Siberia. I can imagine Siberia is quite cold. And you're coming to Spain in September. Whereabouts in Spain? In fact, I would love to visit Ukraine as well. I have a long list of the places that I have to visit, but the problem is I have a dog. Okay, pronunciation. There is a website channel called ETJ English. Follow his videos and make sure. The biggest thing with Crimea and Kiev, wow. Yes, yes. Follow his videos. And Paulina in Bali. I would love to go to Bali. So yes, with the pronunciation, my biggest advice would be when you watch videos about it, make sure you do what they say, because Barcelona, very nice. Because lots of people just watch videos, but they don't actually do the activities. So you have to think about physically what is your mouth doing. So sometimes it's good, in fact always it's good to have a little mirror so you can compare your mouth with what the person in the video is doing, and that will help you with your pronunciation. And the other tip I have for your pronunciation is use your phone, the speech to text. Okay, so on your phone there's a microphone, and when you speak to it, it converts from speech to text. So you can check your pronunciation using your phone instead of waiting for someone. Okay. Oh. There we go. Okay. Yeah, don't feel discouraged. If in the beginning it's very difficult, don't worry, just keep going and adjust, try different sounds so you can, wow, someone's in Denmark, Marina's in Denmark, amazing. Okay, so I think we're finishing up and you're back to Paulina. So very, very nice to meet you. I'm going to put my thank you message. Thank you, Elvira. Elvira. That's great. I'm really happy you could understand everything. That's really, really nice. Books. The Rosie Project. This is my favourite book. It's called The Rosie Project. And it's not too difficult to start with. Okay. Starting English. I don't think it's important to start with a native speaker. Not at all. And a lot of people prefer to learn with a non-native in the beginning because they understand more what you've been experiencing. And then later, if he needs it, he can have a native speaker for pronunciation. But I have to say, my teacher, when I did my teaching certificate, my best teacher was from Ukraine. And he was amazing because he had learned English. So he was one of the best teachers that we had. So yes, if you're worried about your children learning with a native or a not native, I would say the most important thing is the teacher. Do you have a positive feeling about the teacher? And how does your son behave with the teacher? Do they feel confident? Children have to feel confident. That's really important. Amazing. Oh, I wish I could pronounce this. Is it difficult to... I don't think it's difficult to learn Spanish because it's phonetic. So also, if you've learned English already, it's going to be very easy for you to learn other languages because the pronunciation is always going to be more easy because it will be phonetic. Especially coming from Russian, that's going to be even easier because I think there are some similarities in the grammar as well, as I understand it. Oh, thank you guys. Svetlana, it was very nice to meet you too. And also the person behind you, whose name I cannot say. No, I'm not going to do that. It's going to be very bad. Well, I hope everyone's feeling very motivated and you're going to fill in your motivation books with a cup of tea. Oh, that's very nice, guys. We have to get my dog on the next one so you can meet her. She's sleeping. She's sleeping over here. Svetlana, I thought so. It looked, yeah, I can get the A and the sv sound at the beginning. Maybe I'll be speaking Russian before too long. The name was Svetlana. And I think this is Oksana. Aha, the dog is called the dog is called Rita. She's well, maybe I can show you. She's sleeping. No. She's very elegant. So she's called Rita. Not Svetlana, just Rita. Tudor. She is big. And do you speak English to your dogs? They're very accommodating, I have to say. And cats too. A cat and a dog, you can definitely. Oh, fantastic. You should use them for your practice partners. Okay, in fact, I'm going to hand you over to Paulina. Rita is very sleepy. Hello, Angelica. And I don't have an Instagram at the moment. It's on my to-do list. I'm working on it right now, but I will let Paulina know when I've finished it or started it, not finished it. Thank you. Okay, bye guys. I'm handing you back to Paulina. See you again. Bye. I have to do...
О, окей. Ребят, как вы меня слышите и видите? Эмма случайно нажала на стоп и забыла, не успела с вами попрощаться. Пишет мне сейчас в скайпе. Ну ладно. Как прошел вебинар? Вам понравилось? Было ли сложно? Было ли просто? Дайте мне, пожалуйста, обратную связь. Было ли сложно? Было ли просто? Понравилось ли вам? Хотите ли вы еще таких вебинаров с Эммой? Может быть, например, раз в месяц? Были ли у вас сложности с пониманием ее речи? Может быть, какие-то слова были слишком сложными? Или все, в принципе, отлично и доступно? Хотим. Все понятно и полезно. Класс. Супер. Смотрите, всем тем, кто регистрировался на вебинар, то есть если вы оставляли свою почту, регистрировались на моем сайте или присылали мне свою почту в Инстаграме, завтра придет запись вебинара вместе с презентацией. Да, то есть вам придет презентация и запись вебинара. Так, было круто, но мне сложно было понять, она все-таки немного быстро говорит. Это дело практики. Тренируйте слух. Скачайте на моем сайте методику по развитию слуха, потренируйтесь и выполняйте упражнения 2 раза в неделю. К следующему вебинару вы будете уже готовы. Будете как огурчик. Очень понравилось. Ой, я не успевала. Какие были, но все понятно. Так, хорошо. Почти все понятно, очень понравилось. Я в письмо добавлю вам свою методику или отправлю ссылку на сайт, где можно скачать методику по развитию слуха, чтобы вы к следующему вебинару уже были готовы, да, потренировались, поделали бы упражнения, и вам было бы уже намного проще слушать ее. Такие вебинары очень полезны, хотим еще. Супер. Желаю лучшего. Спасибо за вебинар. Следующий вебинар. Сколько стоит часть занятий с ней? Напишите мне личное сообщение, я вам отвечу, хорошо? Так, ссылку на сайт. Сейчас пришлю. Сейчас вам сброшу здесь ссылку на методику, где можно скачать методику по развитию слуха. Смотрите, в эти выходные у нас не будет вебинаров и никаких эфиров, потому что я уезжаю, и вот у нас сегодня был вебинар чуть раньше. В следующее воскресенье будет вебинар, будет прямой эфир в моем инстаграме о том, как научиться слышать английскую речь. Как раз тоже будет очень прикольно для тех, кто, может быть, плохо что-то сегодня понял. Так, сейчас я ищу. Как научиться понимать английскую речь. Вот. Отправляю вам ссылку. Следующий вебинар с Эммой, я думаю, мы проведем где-то через месяц. Юля уже отправила. Следующий вебинар с Эммой мы проведем примерно через месяц. Получим еще от вас тоже обратную связь. Спросим вас завтра, как все прошло. Да, я думаю, если вам понравилось, то будем проводить раз в месяц примерно. Да, я попросила ее говорить не очень быстро, максимально понятно и не очень долго, чтобы вы не успели устать, потому что есть те люди, уверены здесь, кто впервые, может быть, слушал вебинар с носителем, и чтобы у вас не закипела голова, чтобы было не так сложно, мы решили уложиться в час. Ура! Круто! Хорошо, тогда следующее воскресенье, не в это, в следующее воскресенье в 12:00 по Москве я жду вас в своем инстаграм English Червова. Юля сейчас пришлет вам ссылку на аккаунт. И будем обсуждать с вами, как развивать слух, чтобы научиться понимать английскую речь. Это касается не только вебинаров с носителями, да, но и также как научиться слышать песни и понимать, о чем они поют, как смотреть фильмы в оригинале и так далее. Как смотреть сторис у блогеров, то же самое. Также я хотела вам напомнить, что у нас в школе возможны уроки с носителем, не с Эммой, с другим преподавателем на постоянной основе. Сами вы тоже можете заниматься, мы можем это все организовать, но единственное, у нее, конечно, подороже. У нас есть другой еще носитель, ее зовут Сандра, 1 час стоит 1300 рублей. Она проводит как консультации на марафоне, так и индивидуальные уроки. Угу, супер. Я не успевала переводить, но почти все поняла, как это. Но когда ты отпускаешь контроль, да, и иногда мы пытаемся перевести каждое слово у себя в голове. Но когда ты отпускаешь контроль, то твой мозг успокаивается, и ты начинаешь все понимать. Это все отлично. 1 час 145 минут? Нет, 1 час 160 минут. Очень понравился вебинар, все понятно. Отлично, здорово. У кого еще есть проблемы с пониманием английской речи или со словарным запасом, или с построением предложений, да, то мы всех ждем на марафоне. Это мой онлайн-курс. Кстати, ребята, кто был сегодня на вебинаре среди участников марафона, запись мы вам завтра отправим в чат. И, кстати, для участников марафона мы подготовили очень классную рассылку. Каждый участник марафона может подписаться на отдельную email-рассылку. Мы сделали 2. Первая по фразовым глаголам, то есть ты каждый день получаешь письмо с одним фразовым глаголом, или там 1, 2 или 3, примеры, картинки для визуализации. И очень все красиво и аккуратно оформлено, чтобы вы запоминали и используя глаза, потому что иначе я уже плохо соображаю. Короче, очень красиво оформлено, чтобы вы могли запоминать визуально также. И вторая рассылка — это с блогами, с разбором блогов из Инстаграма. То есть я беру блог, объясняю слова и выражения, даю с ними примеры, и даю ссылки на этих блогеров, чтобы вы могли тоже на них подписаться и читать. Поэтому, я думаю, мы запустим ее в конце августа или в сентябре. Я как раз сегодня закончила ее проверять и править. И уже в сентябре точно все участники марафона будут ее получать, если вы сами захотите. То есть вы присылаете свой email, подписываетесь на эту рассылку и получаете такой полезный контент на почту. С разговорным просто жуть. Вот если у вас проблемы с разговорным, приходите на марафон. Мы сможем подтянуть вашу речь и также сломить языковой барьер на консультациях с куратором. Но обязательно, если вы хотите именно подтянуть разговор и вам не с кем общаться на английском, то берите консультации с преподавателем. То есть у нас есть пакеты плюс и полный. Это как раз поддержка консультации, с поддержкой куратора. Эта рассылка будет приходить на почту. Да. И для этого нужно будет отправить свой email. Пока что еще не надо ничего отправлять, да, мы это анонсируем. Полина, круто, твоя школа самая лучшая. Это самые приятные слова, которые можно услышать в 2 часа ночи. Спасибо. Вы запись отправите, просто хочется еще послушать тему. Да, обязательно запись и видеозапись вебинара. И презентация придет вам завтра на почту. Всем тем, кто регистрировался, она придет завтра на почту. Проверяйте папки спам, промо-акции и ждите. Хорошо? Все, отлично. Сандра тоже очень классно преподает, помогает. Здорово. О, вот это Ира, да, Ира занималась с ней. Уроки на марафоне проходят на обучающей платформе. То есть это видеоуроки. Вы проходите видеоурок, делаете упражнения, проверяйте себя по ключам. Также выполняйте дополнительные задания, если у вас время есть. Дополнительные задания — это, например, почитать блог из Инстаграма, да, там объяснение есть слов и выражений, либо послушать песню, либо посмотреть короткое рекламное видео. Вы можете заниматься в любое время дня и ночи. Также у нас есть общий чат, где можно задавать вопросы, знакомиться с единомышленниками, и также есть консультации с куратором. Куратор — это русский преподаватель, который помогает вам очистить свою речь от ошибок. То есть вы разговариваете, куратор вас корректирует, поправляет, помогает вам разговориться, помогает сломить языковой барьер. Если вдруг по каким-то причинам вам не нравится, например, ваш куратор, да, как человек, допустим, ну, бывает такое, то вы можете написать мне, и мы вам его поменяем. Также после оплаты вы получаете вступительный тест, и по результатам вступительного теста мы подбираем для вас соответствующую ступень марафона, всего их 9. В первые 5 дней после старта можно спокойно менять эту ступень обучения, если вдруг вы поймете, что этот уровень для вас слишком сложный или слишком простой. Марафон стоит от 1699 рублей до 4699 рублей, в зависимости от формата и пакета. То есть у нас есть возможность обучения 3 раза в неделю, а есть обучение 5 раз в неделю. Вот если 3 раза в неделю, то дешевле, да, если 5 раз в неделю, то чуть дороже. Вот, да. Я вам сейчас пришлю ссылочку на сайт, где вы можете почитать про марафон. Да, по поводу записи. Вот Юля правильно написала. Запись будет 3 дня. В течение 3 дней вы можете ее пересматривать сколько захотите, а потом доступ к записи пропадет, можно будет купить за 59 рублей или 99 рублей, ну что-то такое, какие-то там мелочи. Это сделано для того, не для того, чтобы заработать 59 рублей, не особо не изменит мою жизнь, а скорее для того, чтобы вас замотивировать посмотреть эту запись, потому что очень часто у нас бывают какие-то записи вебинаров, да, или курсов, которые валяются где-то на почте, и мы помним про них, но не смотрим. Но это замотивирует вас все-таки ее посмотреть. Супер. Так, у вас есть еще вопросы, или мы уже будем заканчивать? Как вы? Можно брать часть консультации с куратором, какую-то часть носителем. У нас стандартно в пакет идут консультации с русским преподавателем, но вы можете дополнительно докупить одну, например, или 2 консультации с носителем. У меня начало 1-го уже, у меня уже начало 3-го. Хорошо. Так, в Инстаграме вопросов нет. В Инстаграме у меня закончился прямой эфир. Я его не сохранила. Ну вот так вот, ладно. Марафон в течение месяца, каждый день, сколько часов, минут в день на занятия. Марафон длится 1 месяц, то есть марафон состоит из 9 ступеней, каждая ступень длится 1 месяц. Вы можете потом продолжить заниматься, можете перестать, как хотите. Есть возможность обучения 3 раза в неделю, есть обучение 5 раз в неделю. Заниматься в день нужно от 30 минут до 2 часов, дальше зависит уже от вас, да? То есть вы можете позаниматься, сделать минимум за 30 минут, можете сделать максимум еще что-то дополнительное для себя, у вас на это уйдет там 2 часа, например, да? Но минимум нужно 30 минут. Давайте спать. Да, давайте спать. Спокойной ночи, ребят. Спасибо вам большое за такую обратную связь. Я очень рада, что вам понравился вебинар. Я буду ждать вас в следующее воскресенье на прямом эфире в Инстаграме о том, как научиться слышать английскую речь. Все обсудим все детали, отвечу на ваши вопросы. Также расскажу вам о ближайших следующих мероприятиях. И следующий вебинар с Эммой, надеюсь, будет через месяц. Мы с ней сегодня все обсудим. Сейчас я дам обратную связь, она там сидит, наверное, нервничает. Переживает, как все прошло. Спасибо вам большое, ребят, я вас очень люблю. Вы у меня самые потрясающие подписчики и ученики. Хорошего вечера вам. Пока-пока. Луна милашка. Пока.